thanks God that I was raised up in an environment which appreciates education and always to ask questions and to know, to understand. And my father actually taught me to think, and my mother was, God bless them, she was always keen for us to learn other languages, other activities, besides, of course, our education at school. Now, I was, at that time, I was about 17, 18. And after graduating from school, I saw someone who was doing typing without looking at the keyboards. And at the same time, I had this talent in organizing everything, the files, the papers. I was an expert in organizing the cabinets. So I thought of enrolling into an institute which teaches secretarial duties. And because if I went directly to the university, I would lose my right to go to that institute. And I had this enthusiasm about the secretarial work. So now I can type without looking at the keyboards. So at that time, my sister Hatun, she was the one who came up with an idea about having a salon for education. Like every PhD professor, or each professor should come and talk about their specialty, so the rest would benefit from this. It was once a month, and I chose the topic was nice. It was about women in Islam and how they are treated, and I had this, complications about understanding what is the real position of a woman in Islam and how a woman should be treated. So to me it was very interesting. So I went there and the professor was talking. It was like a salon, we went there to have fun, to talk about different things, and then we kept silent, of course, when the professor would start talking. It was like a gathering, and each one of us used to bring a plate of food, and it's like sharing everything and helping each other in building this kind of salon. It was a very interesting question to me, and I really needed to know. And the question was, when a man and woman in court, why is it one man would be equal to women when it comes to witnessing something or proving something? If one man would justify, two women has to justify, not only one. So anyways, it was a very interesting question, and what happened was actually shocked me, because she attacked me, and how could you ask such question, and we shouldn't even discuss the rules of the law of Islam, and this is written in the Quran, and that's it, you have to follow. To me it was ridiculous, but I was shocked from the reaction. At that time it didn't make sense to me, but I was of course shy. I was a bit embarrassed because it was in front of people, and I was a bit confused because it was my right to ask a question, any question, even if it was a silly one. We are there to understand and to learn. We are not there to show off that we have knowledge and we know things. That was my intention. So afterwards, after each session, we would gather, in like groups, 2 or 3 or 4 groups. So I was standing with my group and talking, and she was next to me. this professor, and she was talking with other people, and I overheard that she asked the same question, and she told her, well, actually, I don't know. It doesn't make a person to have a PhD. It's not an identity to have a PhD nor a bachelor. What makes a person is morals. And if the intention of having or learning or studying in order to get a bachelor or a master's or a PhD, it means that this person understood nothing. One of the things that a knowledge does to a person is they make them in a higher level with their morals and their understanding about life, and it makes them more humble, because the more a person knows, the more they know that they know nothing. And if a person comes and he says that I'm a doctor, not a medical doctor, of course, I'm a doctor, or he wants to be called that, or he starts to feed his ego, this is not a real scientist or professor. You know, I visited someone who's really important in the field of environment, and we had to do some work, so I went to meet him. And when they introduced him to me, they just introduced him with his first and second name. And when he gave me his card, I looked at it and I found that his name was written and then comma and then PhD. I respected him a lot. This is a real scientist. This is a real person who has knowledge, who didn't even study because of complication within his personality. Now, universities are important for us to graduate from, also schools, but it doesn't make a person. It is very important, of course, to have a bachelor, because this is the minimum, because you will gain a lot from going to schools. With all the negativities, still you will get the benefit. So when people say that it doesn't do good for a person to go to university and study, no, this is totally wrong. We should study, we should learn. At least you will get an information from here or there, but it doesn't make a person, it doesn't make you appreciate a person if they study, if they have graduated from university or they have a PhD, because there are lots of PhD holders, they know nothing about life, they know nothing about treating the other and how to have compassion, for example. And you can find a high school graduate or even less than that, and he has a knowledge about life which you cannot count from the experiences he went through. And sometimes you find a person who couldn't go to university because of lack of money, but they want to make it up for themselves by having more experience and getting into the working field and be successful. So a real PhD holder is the one who appreciates people. And even in a discussion, you know, when you know that the more you know, the more you have lack of knowledge, this is the real thing. Some people, they go into schools and this is their intention, is just to have something prestigious, you know, that someone will say that I'm a doctor and I will be treating people with that I'm in a higher level. No, a real scientist would know that the more he or she knows, the more they will become humble, because they know that the less they know, you know, they get taken by other knowledges that they don't know about, and when they find experts and they start talking about their specialty, they feel that they really don't have this knowledge. They know that they're not supposed to know everything, and And they need to ask questions so they will understand and they will know and they will get the information, and there's no harm in asking. I really appreciate a person who asks. When you find, let's say you went to a doctor or professor and you asked him a question, even if it was a silly one, if you feel that this person is nervous and he's trying to put you down, immediately know that you hit the right place, that you asked the right question, and they don't have the right information about it. So never think that you are less or they are in a higher level because they are professors or PhDs, because a real PhD person won't make you feel this way. Unless if you have some kind of complication or you feel like you are less than them. And this is what I get in my session, feeling less than this, we can deal with it in my sessions. I can take out some, I can delete some vibrations, which are feelings, which are causing you to feel that you are less. And some others, they would come to me. In some cases I had, which were rare, that they say that they cannot complete a project. They cannot, for example, continue or finishing their studies, like having the bachelor or finishing doing a book. They would start, and when they are in the middle, they stop for some reason. They cannot continue. And there are so many negative feelings causing this to happen, like, for example, frustration, like no one encouraged you, unsupported. So there are so many negative feelings. When we delete them, they went to the top and they finished what they started. So it doesn't make me, it doesn't make a PhD person when in a discussion puts you down or tells you that this question is silly and you're asking the wrong question. A question is a question and it's your right to ask. How would you know if you didn't ask? Even if you think it's silly, ask it, have the courage. This means that you don't have any complication within you, you don't have any lack within you, you don't feel that you have lack in anything on a personal basis. You are strong enough to ask a question because you know within yourself that you're not born knowing everything. So we need to go to experts and ask questions to know. Some people, you can find them that they come up with questions that they would make the PhD holder going crazy with the question, like they want to know more and they want to go and make other researches, and so there is nothing wrong with asking a question. And whoever puts you down, it means that they have a problem. It's not you. Now, studying is important, and the minimum you can have is a bachelor, because it adds to your knowledge. This is very important. At the same time, I do not appreciate a person from his studies, because from his degree. Someone has a degree, it doesn't mean that he knows what he's talking about or he knows things. There are so many things in life that they don't even have a degree for them at schools. The more a person knows, the more they become humble. And the meaning of having a degree is to let me have the benefit from the knowledge or the information I'm getting, and at the same time to give it to others and to let them know about it. This is a joy by itself. A thinker is better than someone who prays. 1 hour thinking is better than 1,000 years praying. That doesn't mean that the person shouldn't pray. Of course, we always need God. We need God. The only thing a person, I would say, needs is God. So it's amazing that a person thinks, searches for the truth, having questions, this is amazing. And this shows that this person has confidence and they really want to know. And this is what takes a person to a different level, to a higher level. I have 2 bachelors, 2 masters, and 1 PhD. But they don't make me the person that I am today. What made me a person is morals and principles and have the compassion. It's not because to feed this ego. The more you feed the ego, the more you will go lower. And the more you feel humble with the knowledge you have, the more you will get to a higher level. Having morals is better than being educated. Because if you didn't have morals out of education, that means that you had no education whatsoever. Bye.